In section 3, we're going to discuss analyzing the purpose and anticipating the audience. So it's important to determine your purpose. So you want to ask yourself these two questions. Why am I sending this message and what do I hope to achieve? And your message may have primary and secondary purposes, and the textbook provides the following example of a primary and secondary purpose. For college work, your primary purpose may be merely to complete the assignment, but your secondary purpose might be to make yourself look good and to earn an excellent grade. There are messages that are informational, such as announce meetings, explain procedures, and they're persuasive messages where these messages are to attempt to sell products or to convince managers or to motivate employees. And persuasive messages are often developed indirectly. So when you're anticipating the audience before writing your message, think about what is the reader or listener like and how will the person react to the message. These are important, and when you're writing, you may want to jot these questions down so you can think of this as you're developing your message. For your primary audience, you need to ask yourself, who is the primary reader or the listener that you're writing to or communicating to, and think about how much the person knows about the subject to know how much information you need to provide that person. And here's some questions for your secondary audience. Determine who will hear the message other than your primary. Who is your secondary audience going to be? And for this secondary audience, how much background information do I need to give them? So these are some things that you need to think about. You always, when you're writing and communicating, you need to think about your audience, whether it's your primary or your secondary. Let me move back up. Okay. When you're tailoring your message to the audience, you need to think about the language. Make sure you use, let's say you start to write an email to your manager, Kiera, describing a problem you're having. And halfway through the message, you realize that Kiera will probably forward this message to her boss, the vice president. Super efficient Kiera will probably not want to rewrite what you said. Instead, she may take the easy route, merely forward your email. This is something you always need to consider, that if you email, there could be the chance of that email being forwarded to someone else. So think about that, just like this person did. When you realize that the vice president may see this message, you decide to use a more formal tone. You remove your inquiry about Kiera's family, you reduce your complaints, and you tone down your language about why things went wrong. Instead, you provide more background information and you're more specific in identifying items the vice president might not recognize. So it's important to think about your primary audience as well as your secondary. Also, it's important to choose the best channel. Okay, consider the following factors here to determine the most appropriate communication channel. Okay, do I need to send a text? Do I need to send an email? Do I need to Zoom? The richness of a channel involves the extent to which a channel or medium recreates or represents all the information available in the original message. So a richer medium is going to permit more interactivity and feedback. A leaner medium is going to be more of a one-dimensional, I'm giving you this message. I'm delivering this message to you. I don't need any feedback. So a richer medium you're going to do, it's going to be more interactive. So when you're choosing the best channel, make sure you use the richest media available. If marketing manager Eli needs to motivate the sales force to increase sales, he's probably not going to achieve the goal if he just puts an announcement on a bulletin board or if he sends an email or writes a memo. Eli would probably be more persuasive if he used a richer channel, and sometimes that face-to-face conversations or a group meeting is going to be the best way, because that way you're going to give the message, you're going to be able to read the listeners and ask if they have questions to make sure that you get the communication across. Or a Zoom meeting where the participants or the audience can ask questions. Something where you can see each other and ask for feedback. And so that is the end of this section. Let me know if you have any questions.